think he's gone.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I don't think it's safe to turn the lights on yet, though. We have to just stay in this closet.
Yeah, I mean, if we turn on a light, he's gonna know that we're in here.
Absolutely.
It's kind of like that John Krasinski movie, but with lights instead of sound. Also, what are you guys hiding from?
Oh, what?
What are you guys hiding from?
We've been hiding for over a week.
Okay, well, let's finish talking about metal.
What?
DC's metal?
Derek, I want to go home, man.
I think I'm having a hard time.
I want to talk about these Dark Knights. It's pressing. It's topical.
Okay, man.
Okay, we can get back. I mean, we've covered a lot of it.
Yeah, but Calvin was going to ask some questions.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so question number 1. If you were going to see a 6-issue sort of spin-off of one of these characters that you got to read a little more in depth about.
Like one of the Nightmare Batman?
Yes, one of the Nightmare Batman. Batman? The plural of Batman is Batman.
Right.
So one of the Nightmare Batman. If you could read a little more about one of the nightmares, which one would it be?
I know mine.
Okay, go ahead.
Mine would be the because even though the Drowned is my favorite,
right?
I think I want to read about the Dawnbreaker.
Yeah,
I want an expanded 6-issue arc on the in between of his issue,
like all the crazy shit he does with that ring.
Yeah,
that'd
I
be pretty cool.
I want to see the year of him actually being a Green Lantern, but just murdering people.
Yeah,
because who was it? He said he killed for mouthing off to him or something to Gordon.
He killed Bullock.
Bullock, that's right.
Yeah,
that'd be interesting to see.
Shot him right in his fat head.
Well, and then he eviscerated Gordon.
Yeah, it was fucked
Terrifying.
up. That's fucked up.
I think for me, it's the Aquaman Batman.
Oh shit, yeah.
She
Drowned.
The Drowned. She was. I only say that because when they do Aquaman centric stuff, it's super badass.
Yeah.
Throne of Atlantis is a really great example. That movie's awesome. That animated movie. If you haven't seen it, you should. It's really good.
It's also really close to the New 52.
Right. So I think that would be the one that I'd like to see because I'd love to see more about what Atlantis was like kind of beforehand. And then I would also love to see, they kind of glaze over how the Drowned Batman had that war. Yeah. And they just kind of, it's like a 3-panel thing. I'd love to read that. I think that would be super cool.
That'd be cool.
Because that's got to be epic.
Yeah. Dylan?
Atlantis war in DC is always done in that way that it's like, oh shit.
Same kind of thing with Flashpoint when Aquaman and Wonder Woman were at odds.
See, the Amazonians I could give a shit less about. I don't know. There's something about Themyscira that doesn't interest me. Atlantis interests the fuck out of me. Mara's a badass, and these people are super strong because they basically live at the bottom of the ocean.
They also got a bunch of cool monsters and stuff.
And their technology is dope. And Aquaman's super sexy. Movie or not.
Sorry?
Oh, I'd fuck. If Arthur Curry ever comes to life and he's like, you know what? I kind of want to fuck a dude. I will sell any of you.
You're gonna be first in line.
Any of your stuff gone. I'll steal it. I'll sell it.
There's a woman version of him. I mean, she's dead now, but you could have gone. Never mind.
We're splitting hairs here.
I think the one I would want to see is Red Death.
Okay.
Mainly, I want to see the stories that led up to the Red Death comic.
Okay, what led him to crack?
Right.
Batman to crack.
Which it was the death of his Bat family, but
what
they didn't really.
That?
Yeah, they did just kind of glaze over that. Okay.
That would be cool.
Him coming up with the plan, him building the Batmobile with the cosmic treadmill.
Yeah.
Fucking, maybe even the corpses are still in the Batcave because he hasn't adjusted and done anything with them yet.
Yeah.
That'd be super cool. My answer...
I feel like I know what your answer is going to be.
I wish my answer was more interesting, but it's absolutely the Batman Who Laughs.
Yeah.
The reason for it is, number one, when you see him on the Watchtower, he's killed the Justice League. Martian Manhunter is spaghettied everywhere, and Wonder Woman's bleeding from her eyes and dead, and he's standing up there with his Robins. I want to see him, I would like to see him take the whole league down, because you have to think about how many more heroes are there.
Right.
How he takes down Dr. Fate. or like Metamorpho. I'd love to see him
He
like.
also takes on the rest of the world.
Well, that's the second bit, but like in The Incredibles, you have Syndrome and like the Omnibot, and like they go through, and he's like he takes all these heroes out.
Right.
I would love to see like a systematic list of Batman, just the Batman Who Laughs going through and wiping them all out, and then I'd really like to see him just. And I know that this sounds a little like I'm a sociopath, but I would love to see how they would write him, genociding the human race. Because he wipes them all out. He kills everybody. I'd love to see that happen.
Yeah.
Just because it's such a compelling character, because there are moments in Metal where you see him and he does things and it's like, that's kind of fucked up. And then you have to sit and remember, oh yeah, he killed everyone.
Right.
There's no exceptions. He has done more wrong than anyone has ever done right. And it's like, that's interesting to me. I'd love to see them, because it's dark. And anything Batman that's written like dark is always
Dude.
the most memorable moments.
And then they get Clive Barker to write that.
Fuck yeah, they do. And Robert Englund stars as Freddy Krueger, and he pops into the Batman Who Laughs dreams.
What?
No.
Yeah, it's the nightmare on Crime Alley.
Okay, last question about Metal that I had for you guys.
Right.
If you could do the same kind of deal, it doesn't have to be 6 of them, it doesn't have to be this massive thing, but the same kind of concept of shoving together 2 characters in order to give you that same sort of nightmare Batman situation, what would it be for you?
Do you mean like Batman with somebody who wasn't one of the 7? Or do you
No, it doesn't even have to be Batman.
Okay.
Just if you could just
Just
put...
like a character who sort of went through what Batman had done and did whatever, morphed with another character, or like sort of took their mantle, kind of.
Some kind of... Exactly. If whatever the character is, whoever your first character is, has like snapped and taken over as the other... Who would you shove together to make that?
You know what's funny? I feel kind of blessed. Both of my answers, like my top 2 answers, they've already happened.
Then give me one that hasn't been done.
Well, let me give you my examples. Because Scarecrow, as a Sinestro Corps member,
Yeah, which was dope.
they didn't give him enough time.
I agree.
So I'll say that's my answer, because it's been hinted, but it's never really been done.
Right.
Like Jonathan Crane with that ring, that's
Right.
something I'd love to see. The second answer is like there have been iterations where Jason Todd has taken over the mantle of Batman and just starts wiping out criminals. That would also be cool. Like he finally has enough, and then he becomes Batman.
Right.
But no, I think my answer would be Scarecrow as a Yellow Lantern, like maybe the leader of the Yellow Lantern Corps. I think that'd be cool. Just because his understanding of the chemical fear that creatures exhibit would make him, I mean, way back. They didn't write him in that very well, I feel, but that's such a good idea. I'd love to see somebody do it better.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. It was short-lived, and I think that was the greatest pairing that ever could have been.
Yeah.
And then it was shorter-lived than any of the Nightmare Batman, for sure.
Which is a shame.
I agree.
I think I would like to see Batman with reach technology, the Blue Beetle.
Oh shit! Yeah, that'd be cool.
That would
Yeah.
be really cool.
Make him like an Iron Man?
Or like Batwing, who is Lucius Fox's son, whose name is Lucas Fox. See what they did?
Yeah.
Luke.
Oh, I get it.
Lukey Lou. Derek.
I'm gonna
Yogi.
go a little out of what I would normally say, I guess.
Sure.
But it kind of ties in with the Dawnbreaker.
Okay.
I want to see Hal Jordan gaining the power of the green, a la Swamp Thing.
Oh shit!
Oh.
Like he becomes a elemental.
Have you read Earth 2?
No.
Okay, so in
Does that happen in Earth 2?
Earth 2, the Green Ring, the way it works is Alan Scott is the avatar of the green, and the
Oh,
green
shit.
and the
Okay.
green energy of Earth powers this fucking ring. And so he can't use it in space. Like he goes to the moon, or
Yeah.
like he's trying to fly to the moon, and his ring cuts off, and he falls back down because it's like all the power of the Earth. And in that, like the biggest enemy in the first series of Earth 2 is Solomon Grundy, because he's the gray, and it's fucking cool, dude. That's so awesome,
Okay.
though. That
I got to read that. Is that Rebirth or is that New 52?
It's New 52.
Okay, cool.
And it's actually all of the Earth 2 characters, like Zod's Superman, the African American Superman,
Yeah.
and like Thomas Wayne's Batman. They're all a big part of Convergence.
Okay.
Because I really like that line. I think DC did too. What's cool is that after Batman in Earth 2 dies, Dick Grayson he dies in Convergence. Thomas Wayne dies in Convergence. So he dies saving that universe's Dick Grayson's life. And so Dick Grayson becomes Batman and at some point gets paralyzed. The Joker shoots him in the spine for just,
That's his thing.
yeah, it's poetry. It's like they rhyme.
Oh.
And so he wears like a mechanized suit that lets him move his limbs. And he wears it's like dark purple and yellow, like a robotic suit. And then he has this mask that comes down over his top lip and gives him like bat fangs. And he wears like this big duster that like it's my favorite Batman design of all time. Anybody listening, you guys read Earth 2. It was really good stuff.
I'm going to have to check that out.
Yeah.
So I have two. I'm going to give you the one. I'm going to save the good one for last. It's not quite an answer to my question. So I'll say my first one, I want to see Edward Nygma get the Helmet of Fate.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I just think that having all of the knowledge and all of the power to control, because I'd like to see if because Dr. Fate can't intervene. So
Right.
I'd love to see if Edward Nygma could also not intervene, or if he would fuck that up and start messing with stuff
Or
because
like-
he's so narcissistic.
I
You
feel
know
like he
he'd
would,
think
yeah.
he would, oh, well, I can.
What about like Edward Nygma with the Mobius chair?
I thought about that too. Also, I thought like maybe combining the question with the Riddler would be another good one. That would be just it's kind of an obvious thing, but like
Redundant?
because they're so polar opposite in the ways that they are. However, my big answer is I'd like to see Shazam, except for instead of the 7 gods, I'd like to see it with the powers of the 7 founding members, one power from each one of them.
Like a good version of Amazo almost.
Yeah, so like Shazam, except for instead of being all the old gods, you'd have like one of Wonder Woman's powers, one of Batman's abilities, one of Superman's powers, and it would go all the way down the chain for all 7 founding members.
Like a kind of like a DC Justice League Super Skrull.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
fucking cool,
Like maybe he can fly, or and he's like got like the super strength, and then maybe like nth metal wings, and that's how he flies. So then he's got like laser vision or whatever. Like Batman's cunning, but like Wonder Woman's pure strength.
You know what suck to pull from Bruce Wayne? His sense of humor.
Yeah, but what would be cool is instead of being Shazam, he could be ShamWow.
He could be Shamu.
I hate this, all of this. Anyway, that was. I
like those, yeah.
Those
Yeah.
are just
No, that's
my
a cool
follow-up
choice.
questions. So Derek, you've got a thing now that you want to discuss.
You're pretty
Because
pissed about it.
well, because metal did a thing to us
Yeah.
collectors.
Yeah.
Those of us that are completionists.
Yeah.
That I think was really kind of almost sociopathic what they did to us.
Kind of.
They knew what they were doing to us.
Oh yeah, they did. The thing that I've loved metal, like
Right.
I've loved the idea of metal from whenever it was first announced. I loved the forge and the casting and all the lead up to it, and like reading it and buying the comics. Like I was buying single issues for this because I wanted it for my collection and everything. It felt really good at first, and the longer it went on, those 6 issues and those like 8 tie-in issues just kept piling and piling and piling on.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Because of all of the variant covers.
Right.
For how should I even begin? Just for issue 1
Right.
of Metal, I personally bought 5 different variant covers.
Jesus Christ.
So I have the original cover and I have 4 variants, which is like the standard. I have the midnight release, which is the black and red cover with Batman and the pentagram behind him.
That's dope.
There is a Jim Lee cover, which is Wonder Woman. There is a who is that one by? John Romita Jr.
Who
has
you
a-
hate.
I do not like his art.
Right. You bought his cover though.
I bought his cover.
You
At
already
least
bought
for the
those
first one.
tickets.
He has one where it's Superman and he's hitting Mongol's chest from the first issue where they're in the battle arena.
Right.
And then there is the Andy Kubert cover, which is Batman riding on the back of a T-Rex.
Perfect.
Of course.
It's awesome. It's really metal. I
Oh,
loved
he
all
said
that.
it.
And then for the remainder of it, there was just as many covers, but I tied myself down to I just wanted the foil cover, which is the original first printing, which is a shiny foil cover. Think holographic Pokemon card.
Sure.
For all of you playing at home, and then I got all of the Jim Lee variant covers, which is like the variant A, to give it a name, I guess.
Sure.
And it's just because Jim Lee is one of my favorite artists.
Oh,
so
yeah,
I
no,
wanted
for
his
sure.
Stuff. I love most of the Andy Kubert ones, but it was just like I don't want to buy 3, 4, 5 issues of copies of each of these issues.
Right, because at a certain point you're basically spending money for a cover because I know
The
if
guts
you're
are
like
the same.
well, and you typically collectors of variant covers don't even open the plastic.
Nope.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
because you're getting it either to have signed, and then you're gonna like slate it. You're gonna
Right.
CGC it and have it slated and put behind plastic, and then you're never gonna actually read it.
Right.
For those, I guess let's dive into just talk of variant covers, and we've been seeing a lot of them, not only in metal, but DC's Doomsday Clock.
I was going to
has
say, it
variant
seems like
covers.
anytime they do an event, they're really huge about, like, let's make 30 fucking covers for each one of these things. And it's,
Yeah, recently they really have. Before that with DC, there was the Batman and the Flash numbers
21 and 22.
21
the
and
button,
22.
yeah.
Yep, the button is the collected edition, so it's 4 issues, and they did standard covers, but then they also did lenticular covers, which
I still need one of those lenticulars. It's making me really mad.
we'll find you one.
Yeah.
for sure.
Yancey Street, maybe.
Possibly,
Okay,
yeah.
we'll go check.
That's the beautiful thing about Tampa is I'm realizing just how many
There's
like
so
comic
many
shops.
comic shops.
And if I can't find it at like the big 2 comic shops in town, I can find it at one of the smaller ones. Or if not, then you get them to order it for you.
Yeah, online or whatever. Especially because I'm not specifically looking for first issue. I don't really care. I just want
Right.
because you said CGC. I tend to just frame mine. I just
Yeah,
like them in
same.
a frame.
So I don't know, listeners, how frequent you are in reading comics or buying comics, or if any of this lingo is too much.
Yeah.
Variant covers are just kind of what the name implies. Variant covers refer to an issue of a comic book that is printed with multiple covers, where the art is different it's unique to each one. So that may be, the original cover of a comic is, whatever the original cover is, and then you may have different artists who do specialty covers of that, or you may have specialty, like gimmicky, I want to say, covers, where you have like foil covers, which is like the kind of holographic covers. Then you have things like the one that's really popular right now is lenticular covers.
Right. Yeah, they do a fuck ton of those.
Marvel's doing a lot.
Yeah.
Both DC and Marvel have been like just littering at this point with lenticulars. Lenticulars are like,
3-dimensional.
yeah, they create like they're, like you have like a book or something, and it has that material on it, and you like rub your fingernails across it, and it does that little zzz, zzz, zzz.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
when you were in elementary school and they gave you those planners.
Yeah.
Like the little agendas.
Yeah.
And they tend to make it look 3-dimensional, and a lot of times they can shift between one image and another. And so a lot of the
Yes.
comic books do the shift. I know Dylan, for the Christmas special, you got me that lenticular cover of the Sinestro.
Yeah,
which
from
goes back-
Future's End.
Yeah, and it goes back and forth between him in a prison cell in a uniform and then him in his Yellow Lantern suit. Very cool.
Those are some of the first ones that I saw of the lenticulars from DC. Was back several years at this point.
52?
There was it was in New 52. There was the whole run of September leading up to the Dark Side War, I believe. The villains of DC Comics took over all of the regular titles, and so they had weekly titles for each one and of their regular titles, but they weren't like, it wasn't Batman. Instead, there were 4 issues, and one of them was the Joker, one was Harley, one was Two-Face, and one was Scarecrow. And then that was for everybody. So all the villains took over, and there were these special lenticular covers that showed the villain having caught or beaten the hero in some way. And they were nice. I only got a couple of them because I was like already collecting so many issues at that point. I was like, I don't need the extra.
Well,
lenticulars.
I have they did a Joker one. They did a lot of the Batman villains got him. And I have the Joker one where he's like holding a set of chatter teeth. And they open and close, and then he's pulling his gun out, so it like shifts a little bit as if he's pulling it out a little more.
Yeah, because
And-
lenticulars, they either add like fake but
Depth.
or movement to
Right.
the image,
Right.
which is cool.
Yeah, I think the only 2 lenticular covers that I own up to date are the button. And that's just, earlier Calvin had mentioned, and Derek, you seconded that a lot of times when people collect these variant covers, it's to have certain cover artists sign them. I'm just waiting for fucking Jason Fabric to be at a goddamn convention. Because the 3 covers that I have that I'm the most, or I guess 5. I have 5 covers that I sought out and collected, and Derek got one for my birthday this year. Was the Batman Who Laughs, the foil cover for his issue,
Right?
And then the button, so Flash 2122 and Batman 2122. All those covers are Jason Fabric.
Yeah.
I just want him to sign all 5, but he lives in Canada, so that's never gonna happen.
Just send him
He's
a
loving it up
package.
there with that free healthcare.
Stinking Hoosier.
So here's some research I did into. I got 5 covers of Metal #1.
Right.
If you were to take a rough estimate on how many variant covers there were
For the first
for-
issue of Metal?
this is just Dark Knight's Metal #1.
10.
Right, because I know after, because the 5 came out pretty much at one point, right? Like one
Yes,
day.
yes.
And then a little while after, they dropped a few more.
Like a director's cut.
I would
There's
guess.
a director's cut, but I'm not even counting that one in the ones that I counted.
So I would guess
shit.
between 10 and 15 would be my guess.
Okay.
Don't do
Yeah.
that.
I'm trying to think, because like I've heard of them as they were coming out, and
You're the kind of fucking guy who bets like that, Calvin. Like, I'll pick a number 20 to like 10 to 20, and it's like 15, and Calvin's like 16, and it's like fuck you.
He's Price is Right. Now.
Yeah, I say 10.
Okay.
yeah, I'd say my guess is around 15.
Okay. There's a website whenever I googled this that is comicburst.com, and to be honest, I haven't looked around what the rest of this website does, but this guy has he is making a collection of all of the different covers for these things, and he's got most of the issues done. He's still working on the tie-ins right now.
Do you find it slightly frustrating that you can't just go to like DC.com to find this information? That it has to be like somebody bought and did this?
Yes, I do
Okay.
find that incredibly. It is tough to figure out like how many covers of these, which one would I want? If I knew all of them, then I could pick and choose.
Right.
Their website and their mobile app are fucking like gentrified.
No. Not only is it garbage, but like you are the creators,
Yeah.
and so you should have a running catalog.
Yeah, true.
You like even just for historic purposes, even if I can't purchase comics through you,
Right.
at least show me what you've done so that you have it indexed somewhere.
That's very true.
They also don't ever publish like reading orders and shit. Like you've
Yeah.
got to go find this stuff from other nerds on like Reddit.
Yeah, somebody has to do the research and put it all together for you because DC and Marvel are not doing that for you very well.
So how many?
Right.
Okay, so the ones that this guy has collected, and these are ones that are different artists. They are some of them are like there's a blank variant, which is literally it just has the title of the book on it, and
Right.
it's a blank white one. It's for you to take to an artist and have them draw on it, if you so see fit.
It's actually a really cool idea.
it is. I
some
have
of
a
them are
couple.
yeah, do you? Some of them are really cool.
Yeah, one of the artists that Derek likes and you have a lot of prints from, Scott Blair, does that a lot.
Yes,
His
he does.
Instagram's filled with them.
Yeah.
Have you gotten him to do one?
I haven't gotten Scott to do one. I've gotten another local artist named Jamie Jones.
Oh, yeah.
I had him do a Loki on an Avengers cover.
Cool. Who
way
was
back.
the artist that? Is it Jen Mercer?
Yeah.
She is incredible. I
Yes.
would love to have her. I bought a Prince and a David Bowie print of hers a few years back at Mega. I would love to have her do a variant cover. That
Oh,
would
yeah.
be awesome.
Can you say Prince print again?
Prince print?
Thank you, Derek.
Okay, so 10 to 15, 15.
Yeah.
There are at least 48
Oh my
variant covers
God.
for Dark
Jesus.
Knight's Metal #1. That's one issue.
Jesus
Oh my
Christ.
The insides are exactly the same. It's just the cover is different.
Well, did you get all 48?
No, I got 5.
You fucking suck.
He moves a week.
Now, then that pushed me into a little bit more research because I wanted to know, because we've hit this, like we've said, we've hit this mark of like a lot of like lenticular, foil, specialty covers, variant covers are coming out all the time now.
Right.
And I was like, when did this kind of start? When was the first time? So, and this is from Wikipedia. Anybody can find this information. From what they say, the first comic book that was marketed with a variant cover is from 1986, and it was the first issue of the Man of Steel The writer and artist were John Byrne, and he himself did 2 separate covers, and one of them is like a pretty standard kind of Superman cover. It says Man of Steel at the top, has the S, and then he's standing toward the bottom, and like you see full body of Clark Kent, and he's ripping the shirt open, and you see the S shield underneath. The variant cover, cover B, would be, it's just a blown up version of the shirt ripping open, and you just see like his chest where the S is showing through.
Cool.
That's cool.
And it was like, it's just a simple thing.
Yeah.
But that was, I guess, the first like reported one, the one that they kind of marketed as that.
That's cool.
In the 90s is whenever there was what's considered the speculator boom, which was where people really started getting serious about like collecting comics and like keeping them mint and bagged and boarded and buying multiple copies so that they could make money off of it.
Well,
later.
and isn't that an interesting thing that they call it the speculator boom, because the idea is we're speculating these will accrue in value, but in choosing to keep them mint and placing value on them, we paradoxically made them valuable.
It's fucking Beanie Babies, dude.
Well, yeah, it's their own right. People thought, oh, these will be worth a bunch of money, but because everybody did it, that's why they were for a while. Like, it's the same thing with comics. I don't think they would hold the same weight or value.
And some of them,
if we didn't do that. I mean, what was it? The Button. We were trying to find one of the ones of the Button, and it's like already going for $75.
Yeah, I have an issue right now that I'm looking for a first. I have the second printing of it.
Right.
I really want the first printing just to complete my metal set. It's the first of the tie-ins that wasn't a Dark Knight Nightmare Batman, and it is Teen Titans number 12. Because it was like the first tie-in. I don't think enough people realized like exactly what was going on, and they didn't order enough, or they didn't make enough. Maybe DC was creating its own like shortage to kind of drive up the want for it. But those sold out immediately from any shop. I have been to every shop in town. I've been to shops in Orlando. I can't find this damn thing. And when you finally do, it's a wall, it's like on the wall now.
Yeah.
And the cheapest I found it in town is $45.
And this was just like a couple months ago.
Yeah, that's a $3 comic that maybe 6 months ago, when it first came out, was $3, is now $45.
That's insane.
Right. Although check Yancey Street, because I want to say I saw it there, but
I'll check him
while
out.
I was at Yancey Street, he has the Batman Who Laughs up on his wall for $15 already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's not signed or anything. It's just the comic.
Yep. And that just depends on the shop, because the one that I found, PJ, was a little more than that.
Right.
So,
again, thanks, buddy.
So you were saying the speculator.
Right. And so that was just the idea of these are things that we can collect and possibly make money on later on if we keep them in good condition. And so yes, it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy, but then it's also like the publishers, I think, latched onto that idea as well and went, oh, people are buying these things? Well, what if we release 10 covers of this one issue? And then everybody's buying up
48.
Yeah, or 48. Which 48 pales in comparison to the record holder for the single issue with the most variants.
Can I take a guess?
Yeah.
Is it DC? Is it DC or Marvel? Is it Secret Wars?
No.
Is it something with Spider-Man?
Yes.
Okay. Is it the Miles Morales Spider-Man?
No.
Or is it Peter?
It's Peter. It is from the original, and whenever I say original, I don't mean it necessarily has to be, don't think like it has to be old, but from the original 1963 run of The Amazing Spider-Man.
Okay.
Because that literally ran until like a few years back.
Is it his wedding?
I don't know what the issue is. Actually, I need to look that up.
I'll do it.
It is issue number 666.
Ooh.
Does anyone want to take a guess on how many variant covers there are of 666?
150.
You're
At a
fucking
record?
close.
140.
145.
Damn.
145 different covers.
Jesus Christ.
And it's like, I don't know. Okay. Looking at the metal ones, some of them are literally, some of them are, this one's done by this artist, this one's done by this artist, this one's done by this artist. But then you have variants that are like, this one is done by Andy Kubert. And then there is the sketch version of it, which is just the pencils, no inks.
Right. Then there's pencils
and
and inks.
colors. And then you have the Virgin cover, which is the completed art, but no titles. Like no Batman, no DC
No
logo, no
numbers.
nothing. It's just the picture, which are beautiful.
Right.
They're also harder to find. And some of those variants are ones that are like, you could only get them at this store.
Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1, number 666.
Yes.
Is the prequel to Spider Island. It is when Spider Island began,
Okay.
which is not the Spider-Man story I would have guessed that was going to be.
No.
So-
but 666.
Right. True.
Because like Batman 666 is hard to find as well, just because of the number,
Right.
but it's also the first appearance of Damian Wayne, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I think
I
you're
have a
absolutely
copy
right.
of that.
So it's interesting though. Okay, so another one you were talking about variant covers. Another thing that really bugs me and kind of blows my mind. You've got the Death of Superman, which came bagged.
Yes.
So they introduced these bags, and you have the all black with silver logo. You have the platinum edition, which was silver with black writing. You had the standard, which was white with the red Superman logo. Then there was also, I'm pretty sure there was a bloody variant where it was like white with like
So that is
trickle. Hold on, there was a all red one with blue and all blue one with red. It's like there were I want to probably between 5 and 10. I was trying to find an actual number, I couldn't find it. My point is that we did that, went through the whole bagging thing, right? So if you've opened them, they're worthless. I mean, not
Yeah, they're
worthless,
not
but
worth
they're not worth
as much.
nearly as much.
Right.
And so that means that you have to buy one to keep in the bag forever, and then buy one to open and
Pretty much.
display the cover.
Because the covers are different in the bags.
Yeah.
They double stacked it. Now here's the best part. They just did last year, I want to say, they did Harley's Little Black Book,
Yeah.
which was Connor and Palmiani, and they did the same thing. The worst part was because it was a black bag with the same white drawing on it, it was a random lottery on which variant cover you were going to
jeez.
get.
Oh.
Nope.
Can you imagine trying to get your hands on all of those? Because I think it was like 10, because it was the same thing you were talking about. So they're in a bag that is like a kind of a question grab bag, like the little figures that
Yeah.
comic shops or whatever. And there was the pencil sketch, the pencil and ink sketch, the full color sketch. There was a variant that also had pencils and all that. Then they had a couple that were like guest cover artists that would do. It was insane. So what Emerald City did was they had, just like they do with other mystery toys, they had one open.
That's a good.
So if you
okay.
bought it, you could open your bag, and if you wanted the other one, you could swap them. So I ended up getting and it was like the whole run of Little Black Book was like this. I got the Flash. She's riding an ostrich, and it's them racing the Flash is the
Okay.
cover. And I got the color, and I want to say I also got the pencil and ink. Maybe maybe she's on roller skates. There's two, because then there's also a penguin one, and I think maybe she's on the ostrich with a penguin. I'd have to go back and look at my collection, but if I remember, I'll post them up on Instagram. But they are like, I had to like, those are the only ones I was interested in at all for those covers, and I still had to buy two to get the one that I wanted.
Right. And the one that just kind of similarly to that, the one that just dropped is we just hit a milestone, guys. If you're not aware,
Oh, yeah.
Action Comics number 1000. It is also Superman's 80th birthday.
Cool.
So he's been around for 8 decades. So they have 10 different covers for issue 1000. They have the standard issue cover, which is by Jim Lee, and it's a really basic cover, and it's
It's good looking though.
yeah, it looks
Yeah.
great. He's got the red trunks on again. Then they have one for each of the 8 decades. They have one done in the style of like the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and then the current one. And then they have a blank variant as well.
Right.
So there are 10 in all. They're selling those for, it's an 80-page special because it's a big,
Yeah.
big to do. And so those are like $8 a piece. So you're spending $100 after tax
To
if you
get
got
all
one
of
of
them.
each of
Yeah.
them.
Superman number 1000, which is the first issue that Brian Michael Bendis taking the helm.
Yes,
And I'm really
well,
hoping
Action
this-
Comics number
Technically.
1000, and
Yeah.
then he's gonna have going forward. He's gonna do Superman they're starting with number 1 again.
I would love to see him do well.
Yeah,
I hope so, yeah.
Some of my favorite comics of all time were written by Brian Michael Bendis. And then some of my least favorites of all time. I'd
That is
like
very
to
true.
back up. For the record, I know that I think you all know this, that I own one of the bagged variants of Death of Superman. I've had it forever. It was my dad's. He gave it to me. It's the platinum version.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that I own that has like that kind of intrinsic value. It's like $75. is what
go.
that goes for. Like, because it's never been opened.
Yeah.
The plastic is still glued together.
Yeah.
But nope. That will. I mean, it's in a fucking long box right now. It is never leaving my hands.
Right.
I
have a it was during the Nightfall run. I have a bagged the first full appearance of Azrael in his Batman suit.
Sweet.
And I don't know if that's like Batman 500 or something, I think is the issue number.
It would be around
I think
there.
so, yeah.
I don't really have anything that's like first appearance here or anything like super special like that. I think the one that I value the most is that I got the line that Chuck Dixon wrote for Joker's Last Laugh. It's 6 issues, and I had him sign all 6 covers.
That's cool.
Nice.
When I met him, and he was really nice about it. He was kind of laughing because I'm sitting there pulling each one out of its bag and then get him. He was kind enough to do that for me, and I think those are. I want to frame those. Those are.
The only cool thing I have signed, comic wise, I have stuff signed. Jeff is what he says. I always said Jeff. Jeff Johns.
Yeah.
Signed the inside of my hardback Blackest Night book.
Dope.
That's cool.
I also got Nightfall, the first Nightfall issue, signed by Chuck Dixon and Graham Nolan, the writer and.
Right.
The fuck is that?
Nothing.
Are you fucking passing a note?
No.
Give me that. Fuck you. Give me that. Let's see what you got here. What is this? It's just a list of stupid ass words.
Yeah,
This doesn't mean anything.
That's all it is.
Fucking purple, Mambo,
No.
Thursday, doggy, sandwiches, licorice, AK-47. What the fuck is this?
Agent 47 reporting for duty.
Agent 48 reporting for duty.
Agent 49 reporting for duty.
We must assassinate the one called PJ.
Wait, what?
Agent 46.
No. Guys, I work at a different job. Oh shit,
Kill him. Kill him.
If you guys can hear me, please like and subscribe or they're gonna break my knee.
Where did he go?